right, listen up. The infecteds are ruthless, strong, and they're smart. We were on a recon mission, killing infecteds. When we got redirected here, to be an emergency. I want a ready op ASAP.
We thought you could use the help. Alistair?
Yes, Jim. This nearby base was running tests.
Where's Faction 13 now?
Captain Rupert hasn't responded in a week.
We gotta go now.
I will protect my team.
Then let's get started.
We need a team that knows how to work together.
I knew I was there. That's the plan.
Hit him!
Go, Jim. I got this.
About 15 minutes.
Thank you. Hi, Derek.
Hi, John.
I'm here. Sorry. I always forget to turn my camera on when these Zooms come out because they're always blocked at first. And I'm like, people are like, we can't see you. And I'm like, here I am. So I'm so glad to be talking to you. I watched the movie yesterday because I always like to watch it because we're talking about Agent Recon, of course. We did the big movie you got coming out on June 21st. People don't realize this, but actually, this is the third movie in a series that you've done. You've done Agent Intelligence, Agent Revelation, and now Agent Recon. So explain to the fans this franchise that you got going on, because actually, like I said, I mean, it's kind of like you can watch it as a standalone too if you think about it. But there are bits and pieces, from the other movies. So talk about the franchise itself and how it started and came about for you.
All right, first of all, I like you already because you got Commando and G.I. Joe
Yes.
in the background. So
Yes.
We're friends. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I always get comments on that. So absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I let him go. When he's when Schwarzenegger's holding that guy by the leg and he's like, "What did you do with him?" I let him go. Anyway, sorry. Back to the trilogy.
No,
back to Agent Recon.
That's great. I love when people are fans. It's like it makes it even more even sweeter. So talk about the franchise. Talk about the movie and how the concept started and how it all came about.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, I always, I love action movies, as you can tell. I grew up on them, and I wanted to do. This is my third. Agent Intelligence was my third film. So, and I had purposely, as a filmmaker, wanted to do a movie about plot. So that was super capitalist as a financial thriller. And then I wanted to do a character study, which was Always. Super Capitalist released by Warner Brothers and Always released by Paramount.
Mm-hmm.
Both small movies, though. So, and I was really, really scared about doing an action movie because they're not easy. They're not easy, and even the best fail. So anyway, I had this idea because I had gone out to the desert with a friend to shoot weapons, and it was such a beautiful setting, and I knew I could do something that was very self-contained and make it look good because you have all this wide open terrain. So it just got me thinking, and then I love alien conspiracy theories, things like Dulce Base and Roswell. So the Anunnaki, if you want to research these things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I put a lot of those elements into the film and just introduced this world. And then really, it's really about this character, Jim Young, and what he does when he's put in these circumstances and he's bombarded and brought into this whole new world. So in a way, he's kind of this fish out of water. And then Agent Revelation, you kind of get you get a sense of that world. So now you find out about the secret organization, and he's being trained, and they're learning about him, and we're trying to figure out why the aliens are here. So that when we end up at an Agent Recon, a lot of that's established, and I have built the world and the stories and like how to fight these alien threats. So when they go on this mission, they encounter something they didn't expect.
Mhm.
So and that's Agent Recon. That's how it happened. It just kept on getting traction, and the story kind of unfolded as I wrote it. And as Nolan said, when he did Batman Begins, he really wasn't thinking about a trilogy, and I wasn't really thinking about a trilogy. Oh, by the way, I'm not Nolan, but I'm just quoting him, is that you're not really, when you're trying to make a movie, you're just trying to make that movie and make it as good as possible and finish it. And I knew that, like, oh, I have all this backstory, but characters have backstories. They always do. So you don't have to watch Agent Intelligence and Revelation. It will help. And
Yes.
and my thought is that it's just, hey, you get a lot of value because you can watch two other movies if you liked Agent Recon. So
So let's talk about Agent Recon, because of course that's the big movie that you got coming out on the 21st. So I remember the day when the promo shot came out for this movie, and it was you with Marc Singer and Chuck Norris, and I was just like, "What?" I'm like, "What the hell's going on right now?" I'm like, because we all know Chuck Norris, aside from the Expendables for his 2-minute cameo in the Expendables and his 2-second cameo in Hawaii Five-O, has not been acting. How, okay, first of all, Marc Singer, because I'm such a fan of the Beastmaster. I remember watching it on HBO when it first came out back in the day. And of course, I consider Mike Donovan, his character, the Han Solo of the 80s. How did Marc Singer get involved? Because seeing him, and he looks great for his age, by the way. He's like running around shooting guns and stuff like that. So talk about Marc Singer first, because we'll get to Chuck late, we'll save the best for last.
like I said, all the things you're talking about, we're friends. We're friends already because this is what I love too. I mean, like I tuned in for V. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was excited as a kid to watch V, because it was the biggest TV series in like ever in the 80s, right? It was like they had the biggest budget. Probably why they didn't continue on, because they were probably like, this is really expensive to do.
Yeah, the
Especially
TV
at the
show
time.
got canceled, and it was just like, what? And then nothing ever happened with it. I was so mad when that happened. By the way.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, there's so much. I mean, the drama behind the drama, but there's a huge Vanity Fair article about it. But to answer your question, Marc Singer, I'd always been a fan. I'd always been a fan, and he was a big deal, and still is. He's such like a living legend, and
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to find somebody who could act really well, and he's ultimately the lead in this film. Okay, I'm the glue. I am the lead, but I'm the glue. But he has the major arc,
He
um,
does.
because
Yes.
they're going on a mission. They're going on a mission. Like I'm there to help and finish out the mission, but it's really his mission, and I'm there to finish it. So um I I had remember seeing his name pop up for Agent Revelation when I was trying to cast the original Alistair. And when it really came down to, is like, who am I going to get for Colonel Green, who will do a great job and really complement Chuck Norris? He's like the only person I went to. That's really it. It was a gut feeling. Um, yeah, it was a
Yeah.
gut feeling because he's great. Yeah.
Yeah, so much gravitas, like just him, like he's in that leadership position. And again, I won't spoil anything, but he does figure prominently into the plot, like sneak peeked and everything. But now let's talk Chuck Norris. Like, how do you get Chuck Norris, the iconic martial arts action star that basically he's the one that got me into action movies. Lone Wolf McQuade back in the day is what did it for me, and into the martial arts and everything. So how did he get involved, and what was it like having him on set?
Oh man. I told them I did Tang Sudo. I wrote a letter and said, I do Tang Sudo, so you have to be in this movie. I'm just kidding. I'm joking with you.
Right.
I did really do Tang Sudo though. I did it as a kid.
Well, I
Um,
was gonna ask you about your
but
martial arts experience after, but yeah, yeah.
we'll, we'll go there afterwards. Honestly, it was the script. It was another gut feeling, and I was really trying. There's a lot of opportunity to put a great action star in that role of Alistair. Um, and it I don't know, and like it's almost like he called to me and said, I want to do this role. So, but they told me the story because it's not like I knew him. It's not like I know anybody in Hollywood. I don't know anybody in Hollywood, but my casting director went out to him and said, "Would you like to play this role?" And later on, I got a chance to have the call with Mrs. Norris and her amazing son, and she made it very clear that Chuck read the script on the plane flight back from Hawaii and could not put it down. And when he landed, he said to his wife, "We need to do this movie." So
Also tough.
and of course I was like crying. You're like, as a filmmaker, as a person who loves action, martial arts, everything, right? I'm like crying. Um, and so um that's literally why we're here. And I think they got a sense of my filmmaking and what I was trying to do. But I like and I don't know, I'm grateful. I think I'm very blessed. And but I think one of the things she said to me recently was that what Chuck said was like, you know, if you can do an action movie, but people just want a good story. And that's ultimately what I'm trying to do, is tell a good story, but there's a lot of action in it because I like action. And then of course, there's other things. I'm presenting to the world how I want to see my action, right? I'm presenting to the world my vision and how to move forward and to be different, to add value to all the greats that came before. So,
Mhm.
I'm drawing upon my knowledge of mixed martial arts, and I'm drawing upon all the things that people want to see these days. And I think like I'm a believer in like, is that real? Would that happen in a fight? So that's what I'm trying to do. And then in movies, I get a little bit bored. Like if I keep on seeing the same thing, the same kick, then I get bored these
Mhm.
days. It was a big deal when there's these big kicks, but now it's like you can do that you watch it on Facebook and you're like, okay, that's cool, but
Right.
like I have to flip through. So how do you keep someone's attention for 90 minutes? I mean, it's just impossible without sort of having that tension and that story to go along with it. So
Well, one way to keep the viewers' attention, or an action fan like myself, is you give Chuck Norris a minigun for the finale. That was the greatest thing. Like, I saw the trailer, I'm like, I'm sold. Chuck Norris has a minigun. I'm like, let's go, let's rock and roll this. It's like, so I was the finale again. Not spoiling anything, but there's a big action sequence in the finale. How was it like running and gunning alongside Chuck Norris? I mean, you're directing it too and everything, but how was it like? That must have been a dream come true.
I know. Well, that's when I tell my team, just go with it, because I'm gonna enjoy this moment, and
I'm gonna
whatever, I'm
fanboy
just gonna
out.
follow
You guys
along.
take over.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna play it like a kid in a candy store right now.
Right. Yeah. And you see me like, here and then here. And like, I'm like, uh, you know, I, by the way, I appreciate this interview because it's really like I really was thinking about like, well, okay, what kind of filmmaker do I want to be? Before I was just like, oh, I want to be an actor, and then I started got into writing and and directing and all that, and developing my skills. It's like okay, well, and people always ask me, what do you like doing better? And I'm like, I don't know, I like all of it. I like creating, and I'm actually just a fan. I just a kid in a way. And so when I was developing and thinking about, okay, what do we want to see from him? What do people want to see? Because he hasn't done a movie in 12 years. And he doesn't even have to, he doesn't really even have to do a movie, right?
No,
Like he can
he
do
doesn't.
these
No,
cameos, like you mentioned, he doesn't have to do it.
no.
So, but I was like, it's like, oh man, I'm in trouble, because if I don't give people celebrate him right and well, then I, you know, I'm gonna go down as like, the guy that didn't do it right, and he gave me this opportunity. So like, you know, if you look at the behind the scenes, like we have the best cameras. Like I'm using like Arri Alexa cameras, which are like $100,000 cameras, and we got two of them. And even my DP, I'm like, you're not operating. You're gonna make sure you capture everything. And he's directing these 2 cameras. My DP must love me because like, kid in the candy store.
Right.
But we have to do this right. And I had the best stunt team, Joe Fiddler, who's, he was one of the stunt coordinators for Punisher, which
Yes.
is some of my favorite action. Hands down, I think Daredevil changed the game, and maybe that's what led into John Wick. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, we have to be cognizant of, who Chuck Norris is, and so I came up with what I wanted to do, but the Norrises though said to me that, you know, well, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it well too. And, um, in Expendables 2, he doesn't do that much. And I think they felt like, well, people are asking for more when they saw him in Expendables 2. So they came to me and said, by the way, we came up with some action for the movie. Is that okay? And they're asking me, and I'm like,
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
let's see what you got. Yeah, sure.
Well, you had
But then,
Dakota. His son was on this. He choreographed Chuck, his dad's. I'm like, how? Like you have father and son. I'm like, I just would have been like, well, I don't know what to do. It's like,
yeah. I mean, yeah. So, um, yeah, certainly I did not know exactly what it was going to be like, and everything happened quickly. And there's a lot of things going on. Obviously, I'm doing so many different things, but um, when you're making a movie like this, I think it's actually good to just give people a lot of freedom. So I said, okay, it sounds good. You want, that sounds like a great idea. Of course, you will do the things that you want to do in this movie. And it's open reign to a degree, obviously. And let me help you accomplish that by bringing my team, bringing the best cameras, giving you an awesome location, all those things. Um, and so, yeah, super fun, but also scary, also
yeah.
very scary that there I'm entrusted with and honored to do so. But one of one of the best legit action heroes to walk the face of the earth. And people think that he's not even a real person, that they think he's a mythical figure like Santa Claus.
Right.
Like you're entrusted to make a movie with him.
All
Anyway,
right. Last question because we have to wrap it up. But I just because again, I love independent action cinema because you guys do so much. Because obviously, like the budgets that you have and the time that you have. So just real quick before I let you go, just talk about how you craft the action sequences, like with what you have. Like how does it? Like obviously, it's like what do I have? What can I do with it? And stuff like that. Just real quick, talk about how you set apart the action sequences. Being an independent action.
I wrote out every kind of move. When I was watching something on Stallone, I study Stallone as well, and
Hmm.
apparently he wrote out a lot of the boxing in the Rocky movies.
Yeah.
Like, and he came back in a day. Like they're like, we need something for this, and he comes back in a day. He's like, oh, how about we do this?
Right.
As the writer, right? So
Absolutely.
I'm obviously a big fan of Stallone, and I'm a big fan of Bruce Lee. By the way, they're
As
both
we all
like,
are.
um,
Right. Yeah.
right, yeah, right. And it's written, and then what my style is to empower my team to go with it and say, okay, how can this become real? So like a lot of the punches are written down like he punches, and it's this chess match. So one of the things that I love about martial arts is this, if the person is trying to figure out how to defeat the opponent, like that to me is interesting. Like if it's just flashy and cool moves, that's what I feel like is what we see a lot. It doesn't really, like, I feel almost numb to it. It's almost like just gratuitous action. So um, there are very subtle hints of how this character is figuring out how to, let's say, how does he defeat this big guy who is kind of invulnerable to the shotgun, for example. How does he do that? It's not as like obvious, but like my character is trying to figure out how to defeat this one, this one fight.
Right.
There's other boxing elements, but yeah. And then I think the final thing is simplicity. So I don't if you notice, I think the fights are pretty elaborate, but it's not like we try to draw them out, because I think in the end of the day, like an extra punch here and there just to make it feel longer is not efficient. You know, Bruce Lee was very efficient, and so the simplicity of the action is there, and there's variety, and there's the thinking man, the thought. So
Well, I could talk to you all day about this. Like, I mean, I have, I have so many other questions, but I have to let you go. But I will just say that as a fan, June 21st, like you were saying how people are disappointed with Expendables 2. And the last 20 minutes is I was a kid in a candy store, like I said. He's got miniguns and MP5s and he's kicking and punching, you're shooting. It's a great movie. And again, not to spoil, but it is left open, so there might be more coming in the future. Yes. Is it a little?
absolutely, yeah. I think this is I love action movies. This is what I want to do. This is how people I want people to think of me to do. Not just to act in, but to direct and make. I want to make movies, action movies for the rest of my life. If I can, if people
I
let
will
me.
want to talk to you about the action movies you make for the rest of your life. I will gladly have you on and talk to you about it because this is
You got it. We're gonna have like at least a 30-minute conversation about Commando one day. So
yes, please. That's why I know you're
anytime.
limited because of all the interviews you have to do, but it's like it's never
Yeah.
enough. It's like I want to talk some more, but I get it. I totally understand. But Derek, thank you so much. I can't wait for people to see the interview. I can't wait, like I said, for people to see the movie. Like I said, it's everything like you would want. And again, with what you did with the budget and the time constraints and stuff like that that you had, phenomenal. And having Marc and Chuck with you, it's gold, and people are going to gravitate towards it and love it. So I thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to me.
Thank you. And your opinion as an audience member means a lot to me. So thank you.
Yeah, and my review will be out, so I'll send it to them too. So hopefully you get to see it because it'll be a good one, sir. Because like I said, I enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed the other two movies too for what they were, and so like it just keeps getting better and better, and you're improving, and I can't wait to see what you do in the future.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Like I said, reach out. The door's open. The socials are there. I will respond. So thank
I
you
will
again.
do so.
Thanks so much for the support.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and good luck with the rest of the interviews, and have fun when the movie comes out. All right.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Thanks.